Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So as with every week, I do try and mix things up a bit. I'm not going to do anything on the shrimp room at all this week. I have got bits of video that I've shot, but I haven't done a massive amount. We've done all our water changes, etc. But this week's video I'm going to concentrate on the use of botanicals, so various leaves and pods, etc. that we use in our aquariums and why. So with all that being said and done, let's get straight to the video. Hello, so I wanted to discuss botanicals and the use of botanicals in shrimp aquariums and why we use botanicals. So there's various different types of botanicals. Most of them offer some form of medicinal property, such as antifungal, antibacterial. Others are probably more aesthetic. Some of them release tannin, some of them not, but all of them offer grazing areas and places to hide, so simulating a more natural environment for the shrimp. And I'll go through a few. We do sell all of these products, and I'll sort of, where I know them well, I can sort of go through those. I'll start with the standard one that everybody knows, which is bogwood. So bogwood or driftwood or whatever you want to call that, what that will do is that will release tannins into the water, so it will create a slight acidity. It will leach tannins into the water and give a more black water type of effect. Different woods release different tannins at different rates, but that's sort of more akin to the shrimp's natural habitat. So I'll leave that one. There is a lot to get through, so we do have quite a few. This one here then is a sororoca head. So it's the head of a plant of some description, looks a little bit alien. Most of these you need to soak or boil, and they build up biofilm. There's places for the shrimp to graze, and they look specifically, particularly give you an aesthetic view. So so we sell these, they're sold individually, as is the bogwood. You can sort of build a few up and create like a little area or whatever you want to do with those. But again, release bits of tannins. They're great places to grow biofilm for shrimp to graze and hide in those. I'll try and go through some of the bigger pods first. The badam nut. So this is quite a dusty nut. They're found on sort of forest floors. Looks a bit like a clam. Creates lots of biofilm, this one. And obviously has a nice place for shrimp to hide in. If you boil these, they do sort of, the surface goes a bit soft, and the shrimp do eat that and graze on that. So that's called a butternut, actually, my bad. That's called a butternut, not a badam nut. So I'll show you what a badam nut looks like. So very similar, that little one next to it, and these come bigger as well. This is just a small one that I've picked out. So this is a badam nut. So similar in aesthetics. It's slightly different as in it's split here and it sort of goes a bit further around. It's more of a butterfly effect, but they do similar things. I'm then going to move on to some of the smaller stuff. So we sell this by weight. These are very, very light. You can sort of soak these, drop them in. They give a nice aesthetic beauty. They break down the things for the shrimp to sort of eat and sort of work through. These are called putka pods. So I'll move those. Then we've got, these are very light, so these are sold in pieces. These are called mahogany slices. So these do need a good soak. They take ages to sink, but they'll release tannins, they break down, shrimp will graze on them as well. I've then got Walichi cones or Walichi pods. So all of these pods sort of do a bit of a similar thing, and these will release the tannin as well. These are a bit darker. Next to that, we've got the one that's quite well known in the hobby, and again we sell these in weight, and these are alder cones. So bag of alder cones, I think we do them in 25 grams, can't remember, but you get quite a few. Really nice. They've sort of got gaps all the way through them. The shrimp can really pick through these. They create biofilm. They do release tannins into the water as well. Then if we stay on the cones, then we've got some similar. These are called Casuarina cones. do a similar job. Let's move those over. I will be putting some botanical boxes together with a mix of these things. Then I'll move on to eucalyptus fruit. So eucalyptus fruit, and you can smell the eucalyptus on these when you open the bag. Supposedly offer medicinal and antifungal values to add into your aquarium, and they're quite nice to look at. They remind me of a button on a big coat, if I'm honest. But again, I think these are sold either by pieces or by weight. And then sort of to add to that, we've got eucalyptus bell pods. So these are like a bit of a bell pod. Again, smell a bit of eucalyptus, similar properties, but they look different. So one's a eucalyptus fruit, which is that one, and the other one's a eucalyptus pod. I don't know if this comes out of the fruit or what, I don't know. So moving on then, let's have a look at another. So these are one of my favourites actually. These are lotus heads. So these are the heads of lotus lily, I believe, and they're very, very soft, very buoyant. I'll tell you a trick how to sink these actually. Just looking at them, there's loads and loads of places here for the shrimp to sort of go into and pick at. These do break down over time, and the shrimp do eat these. So I've seen it myself. The trick then is if you boil these or soak these, you'll never sink them. Once they're sodden, what you do is, because they're quite soft and spongy, you hold it in your shrimp tank and you squeeze all the air out of them, and then they sink. Another thing that I sometimes do is cut a slit in the back, and then, do you know the old glass marbles that you used to play with as kids? I've got a bag of those, and obviously glass is inert, and I just pop a glass marble in the back so it sort of weights it for me and holds that down. But you can squeeze them out, they do sink. If we go from there on to cocoa boats. So I don't know what these come from, but when you soak these, they tend to close up, but you can sort of split them back open and break the spine on those, release a bit of tannin. They look quite nice. Then we've got, and I'm going to get the name of these wrong, so forgive me, Savu Jacobita pods. So a little tunnel thing, comes from some South American plant, no doubt, and the shrimp will obviously go in there and it releases tannins and they can graze on that. And then moving on from there, this one's sold by weight, so I really like these. I use these quite a lot in my tanks. And this is catappa bark. So we'll have a look at catappa leaves, also known as Indian almond leaves, later. But the catappa bark, that produces biofilm very well. The shrimp are constantly on it. If you drop a dry one into the tank or a partially soaked one, I pretty much guarantee you your shrimp will be on that straight away. And it's allegedly got medicinal properties, as has the Indian almond leaf, antifungal, helps the shrimp's digestion, stuff like that. So this is sold in weight. I think we do 50 and 100 gram. So the last of our pods then, I think it's the last of our pods, I'll check. The last of our pods is, I've had to pull this up on screen because I can't pronounce it. So it's called a chapazinho pod, and very, very sort of heavy, very hard. It's a heavy pod, looks really nice, will release tannins. They do need a good soak or a boil to sink those, but these are a relatively new addition to us, and one of my customers has bought them. He said he really likes them, and they just look nice on the on the bottom of the shrimp tank, and it will produce biofilm, and you've got places for them to sort of go and hide. So last of my sort of big bits, and then we'll move on to sort of leaves, I suppose. What people sort of commonly know in the hobby and what they see, and that is cholla wood. So we sell cholla wood, and again, you can attach mosses and plants to this. This one hasn't got a hollow centre, well, it sort of has, and the shrimp sort of graze through. They break down over time, last a long time in the aquarium, and good places for sort of baby shrimp to hide and get in and out the way and feel safe and secure, and they'll release tannins and stuff into the water. So next to that then, We also sell, I'm not going to call it teddy bear cholla because I don't know the cactus that it come from, so I don't know if it's true teddy bear, although it's teddy bear style, and it could possibly be teddy bear, but it wasn't sold. I didn't get it as teddy, so I'm not going to sell it as teddy. And these are what we refer to as chunky cholla. So we sell these. We haven't got a massive amount of those left, and I don't know if I can get another supply. But we've got plenty of cholla wood, and they're sold in, can't remember if I sell them individually or in packs, but either way, you know, they're all on the website. So I like attaching plants and stuff to these. There's always shrimp around them, so it's one of my favourites, the cholla wood. So the last of, I've got two types of this, and this one I want to talk in a bit more detail about. So you can use cinnamon in an aquarium, cinnamon sticks, cinnamon rolls, but just be warned, there are two types of cinnamon. One of them is toxic to shrimp. One of them releases a chemical that shrimp can't tolerate. So Ceylon natural, I believe, mine come from the suppliers. They're guaranteed shrimp safe. So we do those in two types. We do the small sticks. I think there's 10 in a pack, and we do the bigger pieces. So these are a lot longer. I'm not going to open them because I want to sell them. And these are sort of, I think they feel double the length of these, but there's 7 pieces in those. So cinnamon bark, cinnamon sticks, they're cinnamon sticks. We sell both of those. And again, antifungal, antibacterial. They're supposed to be really good in the shrimp tank. And, you know, we all like a bit of cinnamon, but just be warned, there are two types of the cinnamon plant. One of them contains, I'm trying to think of the name of it, begins with a C, curamacin or something like that, but it's toxic to shrimp unless it's a specific type of cinnamon. So these are specifically shrimp safe. So just be careful if you go to the supermarket and think you can buy cinnamon and it's going to be safe. Moving on to leaves then, I want to go through some of our loose leaves. We sell these in packs of 10, and the most common one is Indian almond leaf. And you've probably seen me use these on other videos. They break down, the shrimp do eat them. It's a food source. They're really good for holidays and vacations where you can go away, put that in, you know your shrimp are going to get fed. They last a long time. Again, because it's Indian almond leaf, it's supposed to have antifungal, antibacterial properties, and as they break down, it gives the shrimp somewhere to hide underneath and stuff like that. So that's an Indian almond leaf. I'll leave that there while I find a jackfruit leaf, just to show you as a comparison. So we've then got jackfruit leaves, and they do sort of similar. My own, I like Indian almond leaf, but a lot of my customers are saying that the jackfruit leaf gets munched or eaten a lot quicker than the Indian almond leaf. So again, a great food source. As they break down, the shrimp eat them. It would replicate a natural habitat, in my opinion. So Indian almond leaf and jackfruit leaves, again, we sell those. I do sell, actually, the Indian almond leaf. I sell it loose when I can get them, but I also sell it as a pack, but they are quite small. And I mean, when I say quite small, that's the pack with the leaves in. And Ketapang, it's another name for them, but they do feel quite small in here. But we sell those as a pack as well as the loose. Well, not loose, I sell them in packs of 10. Let's take those out of the way. I'll get those in some of my tanks later. The other leaves that we sell then are, there's quite a few. So we sell walnut leaves. I'll take one out. I've opened this pack specifically for you guys. So bits of walnut leaf. They'll offer a great food source. Leaf litter on the bottom of the tank. I don't know if you can see those. Leaf litter on the bottom of the tank. It'll break down. The shrimp will eat those leaves. It's a food source, you know. So that's walnut leaves. Similar are oak leaves. And obviously, you know, we've got loads of oaks in the UK. You can sort of go and collect these, but just be really, really careful if you're going out collecting. I'm not against it. I'd do it myself if I could walk well. you need to collect them from somewhere where there's no pesticides or insecticides being used, like a nature reserve, and they're not close to roads where they can get road film on, because the road film in itself would cause problems as well on the leaves. So just be careful, you know, if you're going out collecting. I'm more than happy for people to do that. You know, I'd do it, as I mentioned, I'd do it myself if I could walk well, but at the moment with my back injury, I'm lucky if I can walk 20 yards. So on the leaves then, again, we sell these in packs. We buy them loose and sell them in packs. These are cobra leaves. So they're a strange one, the cobra leaf. It's a food source. They're very tough, almost leathery on the one side. And then on the other side, they're almost furry like velvet. Take a bit of soaking, but again, you know, a nice addition to the aquarium. Finally, on with our loose leaves then, are banana leaves. So again, we sell these in two different types. We sell them sort of our own packs. We buy them in bulk and pack them up ourselves. And we also sell them like that, pre-bought. So I don't know how many there are in that. I think they're a bit shorter, ours are a bit longer. But we sell these in 10s or 15s, but you can buy them sort of as a pack as well. They may very well be folded, but I think they're actually cut. So those are banana leaves. Running out of space to put stuff away from where we're working. I've got 3 other leaves, and I'm going to open a packet of something as well. So these are, I'll come back to those, can't remember the name of them. These are mulberry leaves. So we sell these in packs. They come with a silicate bag to keep them dry. Blanch them in a cup of boiling water. Pure feed for shrimps. They, you know, the shrimp absolutely adore them. Drop them in. Pure feed. You know, I've remembered the name of these. Guava leaves as well. So, you know, soak them, put them in. It's a food source. So those are guava leaves. And then the last of my leaves, so you're probably shocked at how many botanicals we actually sell, are moringa leaves. So these come almost like, I suppose it's like a tea. They're small leaves, bits of leaves. And, you know, sprinkle them in, they'll soak and shrink. It's a food source. Moringa leaves. So that was all I was going to talk about on botanicals, but I've just thought of another one. And I didn't really want to open a pack, but I'll just use it myself. So if you bear with me, I'm going to get another one out and we'll open this. So I really like these. I think they look brilliant in the tanks. They're called Hexan. You get 2 in a pack. They're, I believe, they're Turkish walnut cases. And I'm going to actually use a couple of these in some of my tanks. So if I open these up, and I'll show you those. And I will be using these. So I really like these. Really like them. They're called Hexan. I buy them in as Hexan. You get 2 in a pack, and they sort of break down. The shrimp absolutely smother them in my tanks. And I'll just sort of pre-soak these, or you can boil them and drop them in, and they do break down over time. But in the tanks, they just look like a bit of a spiky ball. So that's the last of the botanicals, but I'm not finished, so you have to bear with me. And I just quickly want to go through a couple more products that we've got on the website. So as well as shrimp, we also cater for the scaping community, or we tried to cater for the cater for the scaping community. A couple of things we've got on the website. So we've started stocking these stickers. So we've got a red Neocaridina and a blue bolt shrimp there. So we've started stocking these on the website. So if you want a little something to add to your order, just pop one of those in your basket. I have sent some designs to Moss UK because I think we can expand on the range of what he does for shrimp and try and sort of get more shrimp stickers and, you know, stuff for you guys. I've also got these black crystal shrimp pin badges, metal ones, and it does do a red crystal as well, but I haven't managed to get any out of stock. And then finally, from a stock or a product perspective, we've got aquascapes glue, really good value. I've done this on another video. So it comes in the gel, they're 20 gram. So I think the main brand that does this is 15 gram, and they're comparable on price, so you get more for your money. And then we also do a liquid, so cyanacrylate, they're tank safe, shrimp safe. I glue mosses with these in onto stuff that's underwater. So take the moss out, put a bit of gel glue on, press it down, hold it to whatever I'm sticking it to, and they stick underwater. It's almost like the water activates the cyanacrylate, but many a time I've pulled my finger out and I've got moss stuck on my thumb and stuff because I've put a bit too much glue on. So you can use it sparingly. So I hope you found that informative. I'll just sort of do a bit of a wrap up. Botanicals are really good in shrimp tanks. They add variety for the shrimp. They add places to hide. They add a food source. They have medicinal quantities. Some of them will release tannins, so they'll affect the water chemistry, the pH slightly, very slightly, and they're aesthetically pleasing. So hopefully you guys will sort of get onto the botanicals and start using more of those. I will try and put together a botanicals box, so a few of sort of everything that I find useful, and sell that as a package. I need to buy some boxes where I can sort of do those, like I don't know if I've got one to hand. They're like a large letterbox but a bit thicker, sort of shoebox size, but a couple of inches thick. And we'll see if we can sort of get some botanical boxes made up. I'll get my lad to do some because he don't do much else. I'm trying to think if I've got I found another botanical actually while we're talking. We do stock loads and loads of botanicals. So I have found another one that we missed out. It's another pod, and these are sold, I think they're 25 per pack. These are Bakuli pods. So again, sort of quite a nice little aesthetic thing, if you're sort of creating this leaf littered pods thing on the bottom of your aquarium. Not just shrimp tanks either, they're good for fish tanks, especially sort of South American softwater species. So hope you found that useful. As with everything, if you've enjoyed this or you want to say anything, we do answer comments. So please drop comments, drop likes, share our videos, and if you're not already a subscriber, I think please consider doing so. So until next week, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.